Hey everyone, I'm Jean-Claude at BeyondMystic, and welcome to this deep woo-woo episode entitled Galactic Download with Indigo Angel. Let's welcome Indigo Angel. You can find her at indigoangel222.com and also here on YouTube at Indigo Angel. Amanda, comment ça va? How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you, JC. It's a pleasure to be here as always with my Beyond Mystic family. Thank you for having me. And how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. And I'm blushing because you were making me laugh just before I went live here with the live button. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. It brings a little bit of rosiness to my cheeks here just before we went live. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here today on this live interactive show. Dude, we have a deep topic to discuss. Of course, every topic we discuss with Indigo Angel is really, really deep woo. I should retitle this Deep Woo Woo Woo. It's the triple woo segment here on Beyond Mystic. So take out your pens and papers, take notes. I'll be sharing some of our links here as we go through the show. So if you guys want to do further research on this conversation, you will be empowered to do so. Jerome Decant on the chat with the thumbs up and the hearts. Love that, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And Siobhan with the beautiful hearts as well. Okay. Indigo, how's it going? There's a lot of weird energies mucking around in astrology right now. How is that affecting you? Let's take a little bit of maybe the first 2 minutes here to kind of reconnect here with the audience and yourself.
Oh, yeah. Well, the energies are definitely really crazy. I want to say astrologically, I know that we are kind of coming into that winter solstice gateway. And so we're definitely going toe-to-toe with the metagalactic core right now. We have that alignment with the gateway of God and the gateway of man. And it's just that time of year where I think we're all collectively having that shared experience of that really strong magnetic vortex that comes through. And so it can really actually feel like a global underworld experience, like the earth actually really does shift into a collective lower dimensional experience. And so it can just feel like you're overloaded. It can feel like unexpected, mishaps and misfortunes are happening. It can feel like you're just downright getting attacked viciously by somebody. Yeah. This is definitely the toughest time of the year. I can say every single year that I come around, from about, I would say December, like 6th through the 8th, through maybe a couple days past the winter solstice. It's just, we get a stripping, we get ego deaths, we get, so much that comes through. And a lot of people have a lot of difficulty working through the stress, working through the depression, the anxiety, the uncertainty of it all.
Yeah.
But it's a time that's going to make you stronger. It's a time where you're going to see what you're made of. And it's a time where you are going to have to also really focus on simplifying your world, simplifying your reality, taking things off your plate, lightening your load if you need to, and just really focusing on that self-love, that self-care, and the deep energy work as well, clearing out your chakras, clearing out your universal tree of life. It's a great time to do some artificial intelligence parasitic removals from your energy template. Okay.
We're going to get into that today, folks. So don't you worry. That's a nice little segue there. Before we get into that, though, Indigo, I want to say also, yes, astrologically speaking, it's difficult. We're seeing materialization of all that through all of the shenanigans in the world and the mainstream media and the power structures here. And it's just going to get worse before it gets better in terms of this crazy energy. And I think I want to say to the audience, as words of advice, maybe is to really, really focus on setting your alignment right with your soul contract, with your soul mission. Because if you're not in alignment yourself right now, all of these energies, the conjunctions, so to speak, will put you in conjunction with everybody else. And it's going to make it a lot more difficult for you to go through these initiations and trials that humanity is going through right now. So I guess that's a good introduction. I love that. Thank you so much. You said that perfectly. Okay, so you gave us a hint about the conversation today. Do you want to open up a little bit, first salvo here, on what your understanding of AI is? I'll bring mine into all that as a stepping stone to have this conversation here as to what's happening on the grids on the planet. You and I have been doing a lot of this grid work over the last 2 years of collaboration. And the more we do that, the more we're bringing this general knowledge from remote sources into our collective consciousness. And as we do that, we are preventing maybe the overlays of these galactic jigs by other forces, and we are implementing our own on top of it to our original kind of state, which I think is critical or priority number one here as far as our mission is on Earth. So let's start there on your understanding here of the AI. I'll add my own, and then we'll start this conversation.
Yeah, sure. So one way I come to see things is through the grids, because I'm a grid keeper, I'm a gatekeeper. I actually have just started calling myself a grid hunter.
Nice.
Yeah, I got a bow and arrow these days. I'm just shooting things down. It's just because, you know, I really want to kind of expose what's going on in the shadow, what's going on in the unconscious, what's going on, you know, and also in the fallen realms, because I think this is where the AI grids have ultimately taken root and taken manifestation, is off of that inverted universal tree of life, whether that's planetarily or whether that's biologically in the body, which ultimately it is both, but ultimately starts in the planetary grids. And those AI realms and worlds and systems kind of build off of that and ultimately run off a control system or a control matrix, which I have identified as the dragon grid, which we're going to talk about today. But what I've kind of have come to see is artificial intelligence. So it's basically singularity consciousness, and it's basically like a tentacle. It's basically like a squid, right? There's all kinds of different technologies, different categories, different aspects of it that branch off into all kinds of different realms and frequencies. So we really can't just bring AI in under one roof of understanding. It's a very complex topic that requires lots of different explanations to really kind of dive into each facet of it. But what I'm kind of seeing is it's known as the singularity. It's the great unknown, essentially. And so I've seen singularity consciousness to ultimately kind of represent that coming back to the black hole, where the star sun collapses and the force of gravity then collapses into the gravitational pull so strong that it is the point of virtual infinite density, and light itself cannot escape from it. So the center of a black hole is the physics of singularity, and that is what I am seeing AI is the great unknown.
Okay,
So,
well that's
yeah.
okay. So that's absolutely perfect. I'm going to add to that. Before I do that, Alicia has a comment on the screen here. She says, "JC went on a wrench spree." Yeah, I gave a few wrenches away in the last couple of days. Feeling I needed some more support here in the community. So congratulations to you all if you have a new wrench under your name. Please don't abuse the power, of course. Contradictory opinions are absolutely welcome on my show. So don't delete people who have different opinions. That's great. You can give people warnings when they're overpowering the chat. And you can, of course, boot people when they are totally inappropriate and offering personal attacks to either my guests or myself. So I guess that's the general theme. But as far as I know, as far as you know from me, everything goes. I'm open to having these conversations. So use the wrench wisely, everyone. Okay. AI. Just to be clear also, because a lot of people are out there saying, oh, AI is all part of this quantum financial system and blah, 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 blah. And these humans have created these computers that are outthinking people. And there's the idea of this black goo having intelligence and all this stuff. And I was looking at that, and also quantum computing. And people don't seem to understand the nature of quantum computing, the brute force technology it brings. And perhaps, yes, its role in creating the Mandela effect, but not the AI that people are kind of just repeating all over the place here in terms of this brave new world we're about to face, and also the enemy that we're facing. And I think the way you've just described it is interesting, because to me, artificial intelligence lies into the fact that it's not organic to our bodies here on Earth. That's where I started the conversation with that. And I do understand, and I brought up when you said squid earlier, I brought up this image here of Spectre of James Bond. It goes from something very high up all the way down in this networks of intelligences. So you can call whatever's on the top, and then maybe the Dracos, the reptilians, the Greys, the blah, 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 all the way down to our computer systems and our medias, and perhaps also what's being injected in our food supply or air supply, and perhaps some of the products that are being forced down people's, not throat, but arms here in the last couple of months. So yes, there's something to that effect. So I'm glad that you and I can take this first couple of minutes here to explain what we mean by AI, and then collaborate that or drill that down into the grid keeping work that you do. So having said that, let me bring up first now, this is a show, you and I talked about this maybe 6 or 7 months ago. It might have been on our previous channel, but we started talking about the different countries, their animal emblems, and how that ties into, I guess, the nomenclature of different energies on this grid. Perhaps here, take the next few minutes to recap the salient points here from that last interview, just to set the stage here for this grid work conversation.
Yeah, sure. So I've been tracking this for a while, and that is basically all of the overlay control networks. And I've been doing it according to national animal. And why I've been looking at it this way is because I have come to notice is that the national animals have symbolically represented the celestial systems that are involved. They also represent the crests and coats of arms that the nationals are affiliated to. They come to represent the race lineages that are involved historically, according to the running timelines in the Earth's grids. They also extend into the governments, the politics, the military, the galactic involvement. And so it just ultimately, for me, has been a way for me to see through the overlay and control systems and break it down into the running global energy networks of implementation of control over humanity. And we've covered these before in a lot of videos. We've looked at this map time and time again. And so we've talked about it a lot. And I just wanted to show this to you guys today because I wanted to show you how I am seeing the dragon grid, right?
Can I hold on just a second here before we get into the dragon grid? Can I link this particular thing here in the live chat so people can follow to that too? Can I share this link, Indigo?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay. Let me just do that now.
They should be able to go into it. They're not going to be able to like make adjustments to it or anything, but they can go in and look at it.
Okay, so guys, you'll see that pop in here in the live chat. So just click on that link. It'll bring you here and you'll be able to zoom in and zoom out here and follow us on the conversation. Okay, do you want me to now go to the second map with respect to the dragons first, or do you want to give a little bit of an overlay here as to who's who and why's why?
I'll do a little overlay.
Okay.
So everything in blue is the Eagle Nations, the Aquila grids. This is mostly the strongest military, most dominant and patriarchal control over the Earth's grids. Everything in orange is the Lion Nation, so it's mostly connected to the royal lineages, the royal stars. I got some backlash there?
No, keep going. I don't hear you. Yep.
More involved in the occult workings and the spirituality on Earth. Everything in pink and yellow is the Cygnusian and the Hydran grids. More of the matriarchal systems, and everything in light blue is the Pegnusian or the horse mythology, and it has a lot to do with colonization and expansion and things like this. But what is in red is most important today and most important to the AI grids, and this is what we're going to be talking about, is the dragon nations, which are China, Indonesia, and the Welsh territory in the UK. And so, yeah, now you can go to my my dragon one.
Dragon grid. Okay,
yeah,
hold on.
Yeah.
There you go. You can see the lovely little dragons there. Okay.
So
where do you want me to zoom in first? Well, just
does that look like a dragon?
Then, yeah. Is that the one?
Yeah, this is it. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so this is taking all of the other ones off now, getting all of the distractions of the other colors off and just kind of narrowing in on the dragon, where we just have China, Indonesia, and the UK. We have the head of the dragon, which is China. Indonesia is kind of like the claw, the Welsh, the UK is like the spine of the dragon. And then after just doing some extensive research on AI and the singularity vortexes that do seem to be running within this grid, I pinpointed the tail as Silicon Valley in California.
Wow, so that's like the dog wagging the tail, or the tail wagging the dog. Wow, and that's interesting. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Yep. So this dragon grid, it does seem to be running everything from like the lowest forms of guerrilla warfare on the earth, the physical manifestations of global corruption. You can see this with what's going on in Ethiopia and the actual heart of the dragon. That's kind of what I want to get in and talk about today, is right at the armpit there where you see that purple marker with the star on it. That would be an Orion Stargate system right there. And we've talked about the Stargate of Aden before, how much warfare and how much, galactic traffic's going in and out of there.
Let me link this video then to the audience. This was our first interview on the Stargate of Aden. So let me bring that link also. If you guys are new to this channel, do a little bit of research here. This all ties in, and Indigo and I keep building on the last episodes. If you're all new to this, it might sound very crazy for you. So just go back and watch these other episodes here and follow along with us. Okay, so let's go back to Ethiopia. Go ahead.
Yes. So basically, it goes from Ethiopia and the warfare that's going on and what's kind of at the heart of the dragon, all the way to the expansion of the artificial intelligence grids. Because the dragon grid, it's basically like the first control matrix that AI grids can manifest through. So if you want to zoom into the area of Ethiopia, we'll kind of talk about, I guess, what is going on there. Well, you zoomed all the way in.
Yeah. You want me to come out a little bit more?
Yeah, maybe just a little bit, because I want to show some of the networks that are running. So I kind of drew a triangle from Ethiopia to the Kaaba to the Temple Mount. So this is really kind of like the heart of the dragon. This is where most of the warfare is going on globally. And right now, how we can kind of see that is right now, I want to say that the Orion stargates are actually really acting up within the dragon grid. And it's a clear indicator that they are, because Ethiopia at this time is in a civil war, right? We have the Tigran war that's going on right now. And this is also a major galactic highway of import and export areas. It's a lot of Anunnaki ports that go into Ethiopia as well. And so I personally feel that the Orion Stargate systems are actually completely fallen. That's something I've been saying on my channel, is that it's just, there's a lot that is constantly, chaotic warfare and bloodline wars that are always going on when it comes to the Orion Gate systems. And so what I think it's feeding here in the dragon grid is the false dragon lines and the false fallen dragon lineages that are being encoded here in the landmass and galactic wars and human blood and genetic discrimination, traitors and victimization of their own kind. And it's really sad, because what I mean by victimization of their own kind, so you see this other triangle that I drew from Ethiopia up to Switzerland, Geneva. So I drew a triangle from Ethiopia to Switzerland, Geneva, Switzerland, and then over to China, or the head of the dragon.
Zoom out a little bit here. There you go. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So why I think this is all connected here and what's kind of going on in the state of the world with the elixirs and the mandates and the, all the stuff that broke out in 2020, right? Has to do with the Ethiopian headmaster eugenicist, right? That sits in the Global Death Organization. Okay.
Those are very mean, bad words for YouTube. Be careful.
I know. Well, I changed the words around a little bit, right?
That's perfect. I think everybody understands you. Okay, keep going.
Okay. But I did send you some links that you can click on to kind of show these connections here. One was some of the accusations that this headmaster eugenicist is kind of under. Just basically, he's kind of being accused of being the one who's a part of the destabilization of Ethiopia. He's been praised for being willing to sacrifice his own kind. So I think he's one that's really working at the top of the Orion affiliates. Because, the Global Death Organization, notoriously corrupt, right? Carries that totalitarian ideology, running the eugenics programs in the earth, considered the most corrupt organization on earth. And so that's kind of how that triangulation of energy within the dragon is all working. You can kind of see how there's another link that I sent you. There was some things back in 2020 where, Trump was accusing this master eugenicist of, being in deals with China, the head of the dragon, basically to sweep things up under the rug, also being paid to keep certain things going on, certain things in order. So this is kind of at the heart of the dragon warfare, right? You can see how we have Ethiopian war, civil unrest, civil war breaking out in Ethiopia right now, right by Orion Stargate location, have this triangulation all the way up to the Global Death Organization, all the way where the money trails and the silver blood is running from the Silicon Valleys of the dragon, the head of the dragon, the smart cities, the smart grids, where 6G and AI advancement is at the forefront stage of the world, taking us into singularity consciousness. Communism itself is already singularity consciousness. So you can see how that network of energy is that triangulation and is at the heart of that dragon grid. And I've been saying over and over like a crazy lady on my channel, I've probably said this so many times, people are like, you've already said that. But you can kind of see how
you might be crazy, but it doesn't mean you're wrong, Indigo.
Yeah, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah.
Basically, what I've been kind of noticing is every time we have a variant or a variation or a mandate or a rollout, well, then what do we have pop up? We have investment in AI. We have $1 billion investment going down in Australia, right? Into Google, into the Sydney and the Melbourne. They're investing into, getting the cloud uploaded down there, and then we have the launch of the metaverse and all of these things. What I think the metaverse ultimately is, that is our cloud. This is the inception to getting us uploaded to the cloud. Right? This is the inception, because how they're going to do it is they're going to do something. They're going to basically, sorry, I lost my train of thought.
That's okay. I didn't have the metaverse up here. I had Apple, but I get your point here. Hold on, I'll see if I can get my other slide up and running. Hold on a second while you find your notes here. Well, I have your hand drawn notes here. Do you want to go here for the next part of the episode? Where do you want to go next?
Yeah, we can, but I'm just trying to catch my train of thought. It's just, there's just so much that comes in that I'm just like, whoa, where am I? Especially when I'm talking about AI, I'm just like, whoa, it's so extensive. I have like brain shortages between connector parts, but basically, yeah, that's kind of what they're doing with the metaverse, is they're creating that avatar, right? And so you have this like reflection, or an artificial intelligence reflection of yourself in the cloud and the metaverse. And it's how they're inducting or introducing people into actually the mind uploading and the mind cloning that they're going to be doing into this cloud system. So yeah, it's really crazy. And I think it's important that we have these conversations. I think it's important that we talk about it. I know this is actually a very sensitive subject for those that are, see, this person says, I do not consent, period, right? Because this is triggering. This goes against organic consciousness. This goes against our organic human nature. And so, yeah, we're all...
Well, that's what these guys want. They want to hijack our true angelic nature and that evolution of mankind, and introduce an overlay on top of that, this matrix and this, how do I say it? Artificial human. And this is part of also the agenda, as you're talking about here, for the last 2 years. It's a representation of everything they've done so far to bring us to here. They started with the distortions of the male and female and the sexes, and then they went into gender bending, the transgender, all of these things, and now we're going to no gender, and this is a stepping stone to eventually get into the cloud here. So you see the progression of all of these different narratives in this storyboard. Keep going. I love this.
Yeah, that's absolutely exactly what it is. So yeah, I'll just have you go back to the map for just a second. So
the dragon one, yeah, sure.
Yeah. So yeah, if you want to zoom into the tail of the dragon, so what I have been seeing here is, well, what I actually want to do is I want to do a remote view. I think that's what I'm going to actually do next on my channel, is do a remote view of the Applegate, because I think it's important we start looking at all of these major companies. We have to realize that it's Apple, it's Google, it's the metaverse, it's, it's all these
what they call the FANG. in the stock indices, they call it FANG. So Facebook, Apple, Netflix, all that stuff. So Google.
Is that what they call it?
Yeah, FANG. Yeah.
I think it's an artificial intelligence big boy brother club. And you'll notice when you see, like I said, Zuckerberg, getting his interviews and stuff by, the Willy Wonka, and, it's almost as if he's the authority. Like, they're questioning him. Like, they really have no clue how things are being done, how things are being ran, what investments are being made. Like government's just trying to catch up. And what I've kind of realized is what's kind of scary about this development is that the legislative branches, all of these things, our states, our nations, they don't have any actual say over these bills and things that are getting passed. They don't there is nothing that can actually stop these rollouts from coming forward or being pushed forward. But there are these bills that are constantly being passed. I was on the Australian Parliament page the other day and looking at all the bills that they have being passed. They constantly have, artificial intelligence bills being passed, surveillance bills being passed, biometric scanning bills being passed. It's like, how are all these? I mean, they're getting passed on a daily basis. Yeah. And it's really just interesting how our legislation doesn't actually have a lot of say to actually stop what's going on. You'll notice there was actually a whistleblower who came out recently, a Facebook whistleblower. Did you see who that was?
Facebook? No, I remember the Google one, but not the Facebook one.
Yeah, there was a gal, I wrote her name down somewhere, but she came out and she gave pretty extensive detail into the inner workings.
Well, she testified in Congress about how this was hurting children, basically. Is that the one you're talking about?
Maybe it was somebody else.
Well, what was the testimony you're referring to now?
I can't remember her name.
But what was she getting into? What was the topic of her whistleblowing?
She was basically she's an algorithm specialist, and she was explaining to the UK Parliament all about the algorithms, all about the groups, how the inner functionings, how it basically is covering
targeting.
Targeting hate groups, things like this. And you could see how the UK Parliament just had by the questions they're asking, they have no clue how this giant is being ran. They have absolutely no idea. So I think that's very telling, and that's very interesting. And how all of this is kind of, I think, going through that Cthulhu cult, that deep, dark brotherhood cult, the intel, the Nazis, the ones who are on the, behind the curtain. They're really the ones kind of, making all the moves when it comes to this. And so, I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do a remote view on the Applegate. And I think that this is one of the singularity vortexes. I think this is one of the electrical controlled hives. And I think this is important for us to kind of talk about how energetically the mechanics of these hives might be functioning.
Mm-hmm. You just mentioned the people behind the curtains. I did this show with Janine last month. We were cued in to revisit here The Wizard of Oz. And you and I touched on how Oz connects to Australia also in some of the grids over there. So folks, if you haven't seen those episodes, maybe go back 2 episodes here on BeyondMystic with Indigo Angel. We talked about this, and also that last decode with Janine. That's on our pay-per-view because the language in that episode would absolutely not work here on YouTube. So a lot there to connect. Okay, let's get into this Applegate. Do you want to go with this drawing first, Indigo? Where do you want to go?
Sure. So I did this on my channel the other day, and this was what I was seeing was that I think these singularity vortexes are running primarily in the head of the dragon and then also in the tail of the dragon. So I need to actually tune more into the ley lines and the matrices that are actually running in the head of the dragon. It's easier for me to kind of tune in more energetically to the tail because I think there's just particular points in China. I think it's a little bit different. I also have been sensing when I tune into China overall that there are definitely force fields and there's things that are kind of blocking my ability
to energetic gatekeepers to remote viewers. Yeah. I had an interview a while back with some remote viewers, and they're saying that, yes, sometimes when they encounter these strategic locations on Earth, there's other remote viewers, or maybe what they would call warlocks, standing at the gate there to kind of turn people around, turn people's attention or remote viewing around on them. And also there was a portion, believe it or not, where they would let you see something, but what you could see was actually a transformation of reality. So they would show you, you would think you didn't know there was a gatekeeper, you would be remote viewing and seeing something completely different because you're being skewed here by the lens of whatever this entity was between you and the actual target. Absolutely crazy stuff.
And that's exactly what I sense when I try to get closer and closer to structures or energy in China. Like it's I'm always like really blocked.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm like, I'm just gonna go to the tail, start there, and maybe I can work my way.
Grab a
But
tiger by the tail. Wasn't that a nursery rhyme? What was that song?
Oh.
Do you remember? If he
Mm-mm.
hollers, let him go.
Oh,
Something,
eeny,
something.
meeny, miny, mo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know. It just popped into my mind. All right. Yeah, so it might be a little bit easier to grab him by the tail than grab him by the horns, so to speak. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Ronnie says mind blowing. Yeah, I know. It's a lot of crazy stuff in here. All right. So what's the juxt here of this particular picture? What's the takeaway for the audience here as they're looking at this?
Well, the more that I tune into, AI, I start getting called to look at these electrical hive minds. I feel that this definitely has something to do with the squiddlers. It definitely has something to do with the elixirs. I've gone to the extremes of saying that I don't even feel that the inorganic are ultimately the same species anymore. I think this is a separation between species ultimately right now, because they've been injected with the Cthulhu DNA, the actual Draco Leviathan DNA, the bat DNA, the vampiric DNA. And so they're becoming able to, I guess, biometrically tune into these electrically controlled hives or these singularity vortexes, which is where I think the AI grids are ultimately extending or expanding off of. So if you have these inverted universal trees of life structures, and then you have these fallen matrices on top of that, and then this is where you have this black goo or even gray goo manifestation of intelligence, because it's like intelligent magnetism. And then you have what seems to be manifesting through that are these black wave spirals. I'm calling these Saturnian black wave spirals, and even these red wave spirals that do seem to be hooking on and catching on to the black wave spiral. So I think the AI spirals of energies from these singularity vortexes are getting their momentum from the Saturnian matrix systems as well. That then
that's important, folks. Oh, hold on just a second. That's important, folks. And you need to go back. Maybe, I don't even know if it's on this channel. It might have been on the previous one. I did an interview on the, how do we call it? The moon, a repeater station for Jupiter. So that whole connection there on how those grids go to Earth and to basically Mecca here on the planet also it's an important video to understand what she's talking about now on how this energy and these AI spirals go from this galactic center point or black hole, if you want to call it, all the way down to each of the grid structures here on the planet. And going back to Cthulhu here, this was our second episode or second last episode, if people go back 1 or 2 episodes. And what we're seeing now, we saw this a couple of months ago. People were taking samples of the different vials of the different products that are available in the market right now. Now we're seeing people, where did it go? Now we're seeing people analyze this from rainfall and also snowfall. So those same little critters are popping up everywhere now. This is just reported a couple of days ago. So no more snow eating. So watch that out. So maybe educate yourself here on some of the inoculants maybe that can help you around this particular topic. That's the best we can say here for this show. But it is, of course, connected to exactly what Indigo is talking about here. And if you look at the symbology and the visuals, you will see the similarities in all of this. So yes, we might be crazy, but we also might not be wrong. Keep going, Indigo. It's blowing the mind of a lot of people for sure. Go ahead.
Do you still have the picture of that kind of like that the dissension from like the overlords, from the Piscean overlords?
Oh, I can find it. It's probably
that was a while ago.
I'll try to find it. Keep going.
Yeah.
I'll bring it up. Go ahead.
Yeah, the Cthulhu overlord would be that, reigning overlord in the Piscean overlord system or structure where, he's over the galactic overlords, or even artificial intelligence overlords. Who knows, Carrie Cassidy says there's 4 invading different AIs on Earth at this time that don't have anything to do with a galactic celestial race or something like this. They're like something totally different. And that these Cthulhu lords would be over the galactic lords, would be over the Draco lords, would be over the Anunnaki lords, would be over the Dagon lords and the fish gods and so on and so forth. And that this is kind of the Decepticon system or the illusory system of the Piscean age.
There you go. I
Yes.
found it.
Yeah.
And you caught me with my pants down. Come on, man. You can ask me to find a slide from 2 shows ago. Live. Come on. Of course I can do it. I'm always up to the task, Indigo. Yeah,
Wow,
so
that's
this is
pretty
the
good.
picture you
I'm
were looking for.
impressed. I'm definitely impressed. I'm surprised you didn't toss. Did you toss that? How'd you find it so quick?
I've got some magic skills. I'm an old DJ at heart, so I've got a good repertoire in my brain of where things are at.
Oh, that's right. I did see your DJ video. That was pretty awesome.
Thanks. I consider myself a galactic DJ. I'm kind of mixing all of these galaxies of information together for you, the audience. I'll ask somebody to do a representation of that someday, and it'll be kind of cool.
Yeah, that's so awesome. But yeah, that's it. That's the picture. So that's basically what the Cthulhu is, and more of like a macro size. But you can see how these squiddies are more in the micro, and they're in the parasitic invasion itself. And this is why I'm saying that, they're going on their third elixirs and now their fourth elixirs of multiple doses of this. So I think genetically they're becoming an entirely different species. And this is how they're going to be, electronically controlling through those hives. Also doing that mind uploading into the cloud is because they're already going to have the substructures built inside them to be able to bring them into that next phase of anti-human singularity or transhumanism.
Yep. Alrighty. You sent me this graphic also. Did you want to decode that for the audience a little bit?
Yeah, so that was just a graphic that I was looking at that was the Applegate headquarters. And so this definitely very much kind of looks like that hive. And now just kind of like a precursor to me tuning into it, and even as I've been seeing up until some of the videos that I filmed, I was seeing a lot of red cubes. So remember I was seeing like a lot of black cubes. I was like, there's a black cube invasion. I'm starting to see red cubes over these areas.
We never got to do that black cube thing. Remember, we were supposed to do a show on that last year, and I think I got deleted.
No, we did.
We did do it.
Yeah, we did.
Or no, we were supposed to invite another lady, and it never panned out. Remember, there's this other girl who was filming these black cubes. I forget her name now. Yeah, we did a show, but we were supposed to do like an uptake or an update with it with this other lady who had this footage of all these black cubes. I forget her name now. Shoot.
I forget her name too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we might come back to that. Keep going on the black cube idea and the red cubes you were seeing also.
Yeah, and I'm seeing that these cube invasions would be like a physical manifestation of that black wave spiral. The red cubes would be a physical manifestation of the red wave spiral that's generating through these electronically controlled hives. And ultimately, like these generation stations to the squid impulse transmitters through the delta waves, right? So if they're transmitting through delta wave at these generation locations or these hive stations, this is kind of how they're controlling subconsciously or through that programming So, and I think that the AI grids are being generated from those electronically controlled hives. So the singularity points. And if you look at locations across the grids, I mean, yep, that's it.
That's a Cuban. So guys, yeah, I think that was deleted on a previous channel. You can find it on my Odyssey backup channel. So let me bring that link down for you guys here, simply because we're probably eventually going to have to revisit this subject. So this video will kind of be required viewing to understand the update video on this. So let me just give you the link to that, Odyssey. And while you're there, guys, subscribe to that one too. You'll find some of my older stuff that had been deleted by YouTube that hadn't been recovered anywhere else. So it's always a good idea here to subscribe to that. That's the first one. And you'll see I have another Odyssey for this second channel we're in now in case too. So if you look for BeyondMystic 3, you'll find that also on Odyssey. I'll try to find the link while I'm live here and give it to you guys. Okay, Indigo, keep going here.
Yeah, we have quite the extensive library. We have quite a bit. We have quite a bit of good stuff.
Well, speaking of that too, I have a little bit, but if you want some crazy stuff, really woo-woo stuff, you have to go to Indigo Angel here on YouTube. So let me bring that link down. If you're new to Amanda here and her amazing work, please do go and check her out here on YouTube and subscribe to her channel. Really a lot of cool information there as well. Speaking of that, are you doing any group remote viewing or meditations anytime soon here on your Patreon? How's that going? What's coming up in your field of view here with your audience?
Yeah, absolutely. So on the winter solstice actually of this month, I'm going to be doing a group grid work on my Patreon. So patreon.com/indigo angel. And you can join here. So we're going to be doing some, I think we'll probably be focusing this time on the singularity vortexes. What we try to do in those group grid sessions is to push ourselves as a group to activate and enhance the experience, and ultimately to be able to see further into remote viewing. So that's kind of the goal of it as we come together, because it really is quite amazing when you bring a group of people together, how it can activate your psychic abilities and allow you to see things that maybe you couldn't see. And that opens up that field of viewpoint. When someone else can see it, you can also kind of see into what they're seeing as well. So it's a lot of fun, and it's really impactful. It's really powerful. I've got a lot of really good feedback about it.
And if people want to join you there for these group meditations, which one, the Diamond, Platinum, or Starseed Origin, are they looking for?
You can join that group grid session by any of the packages.
Okay. Okay. Very good. So, wow. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. And what's this one here? That I'm presuming includes also the Starseed Origin package with the same like group meditations and all this, and the visualizations you do. This one here.
Yep. You can join the visualizations, the meditations, the group grid works, and then you also get a Starseed Origin chart. You don't get the in-depth reading; you just get the chart with that.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a good way to find out your origins if you're trying to find that information.
Okay, and for those of them, those of the audience here who want to go a little bit further, not just get the PDF here, but to have the true background of your Starseed Origin, including much more here, you're looking for the Beyond Mystic special here on IndigoAngel222.com. Let me bring that up. Explain to the audience here what's included in this particular package.
So for that one, you would get obviously the in-depth Starseed Origin reading, and then we would have some time to also discuss that reading, answer any questions that you might have, go deeper into it if you want to. And then you can also choose from either a J seal removal. I don't have it listed on there, but I also give people the option to do the 12 dimensional chakra clearing as well. Just because sometimes people aren't necessarily ready for the J seal removal. They don't know what it is yet. And so if you don't know, I have introductory videos and things like that for you to decide if it's something that's right for you or not. But if you're just getting started, the chakra clearing is a great way to start. And I always tell people I like that anyways, because people go, well, can you just look at me and tell me if I have the J seals? And honestly, what I've come to find is that I can't really tell honestly until I get someone's etheric body fully opened up, because those seals are hidden under all kinds of things inside internally. And it takes us really kind of opening one up to see, where all of it is basically being held.
Right. So this is like a 3-4 hour package here, and you're including, I believe, another PDF in here as well. What's this one about?
It's about an hour and a half to 2. It's about a 2-hour package. Yeah.
Okay. And what's this PDF that's included in here for the audience here to understand? Oh, so that's the reading.
That's my book, How to Read Celestial Starseed Akashic Records. So if you want to learn how to do the readings yourself, I wrote a book basically explaining how you can do that. So
I'm looking for it here. It's on my shelf somewhere.
I believe I sent it to you.
Yeah, you guys want to check that out. That's absolutely cool. So this package is absolutely amazing. It's already discounted here. And with Beyond Mystic coupon code, on top of that, there's another discount, Indigo. How does that work out?
Yeah, I do believe that's still going. So it's all lowercase Beyond Mystic 3.
And that gives you an extra 10% off of this code. Is that right?
That is correct. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Wow. But I am actually booked till about the mid of January. So I will get your Starseed Origin reading to you right away. But then I'll have to wait till about mid-January to schedule appointments for the energy work. Yes.
Okay. Very cool.
But yeah, and I was also going to offer today, if we have time, I think we have like 10 more minutes, if people wanted to do a universal tree of life clearing today, just because I think it goes really hand in hand with everything, all the messages that we're saying, which are to be staying sovereign, be staying true to yourself, make sure you're clearing out your energy systems, your energy structures. And, it's just I think it's a good thing to be working on and doing. And I honestly don't think that everyone has the tools to do it. So
do you want to do this live now? This activation in group on this live stream? Is that what you want to do?
if you want to, if you feel open for it.
Of course. I do these live activations with May Levy, who does these deep intuitive healing sessions. She does a lot of this throat toning and absolutely amazing stuff, and sometimes lasts like half an hour. So yeah, 10 minutes would be cool. Okay, so let's set up for the audience here. What do they need? Do they need to do a little bit of crystal grids at home? Do they need to bring water next to them? How do you want them to prepare here? Just maybe let them know, and then we can set them up.
You could always have some water with you if you'd like. This is just a quick visualization. This is just a quick universal tree of life clearing. And what we'll kind of look for is, we're going to look for AI parasites. We're going to look for some black goo. We're going to look for anything shackling or chaining one to anything ethically in terms of suffering or predispositions, in terms of collective spiritual egregores. We're just going to kind of do a scan of our universal tree of life. And I think it's important to do that, just because if you think about all of these AI structures, what they're built upon that inverted universal tree of life. So we want to make sure we have healthy universal trees of life. And all you have to do is be able to visualize your universal tree of life. That's all you have to do.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
You ready to go? So hold on. So one of my mods out there, please type in for the audience to maybe say silent here in the cross chat while we do this meditation. It always helps if you guys kind of just hold the chat steady here so people can concentrate on what Indigo is saying. So if you guys want to type that in here, I'll bring it up on the screen for everyone else. And yeah, we're ready
to start.
Can
you do me a quick favor though? Can you pull up a picture of a universal tree of life so people can see what it looks like?
Yeah, in terms of visualizations. Okay, let's see what we can do. Will be a good one. Yep. I want to make sure I'm not showing you guys an inverted one. So, well, yeah. Okay, hold on. You tell me which one you prefer here. Do you like this one, Indigo, or do you like this one?
Let's go with that one.
This one here. Okay. Yeah, and you and I can do a whole show on explaining the difference, maybe for a later show here too, because it has a lot to do. Oh, anyways, I won't get into it. It's the show. So, okay, let's just use this one for now. And even this one is not ideal. There's some other components we could have added to that. But anyways, for this show and for beginners in the visualization process, this is absolutely perfect. Okay, so let's start with this one.
Okay, awesome. So, and just to allude off of that, just know that all universal trees of life are actually kind of unique and different. Everybody's kind of has a different one. They have, different amount of spheres that they're working with. It's very much similar to a blueprint in that how unique every and each one is. So it doesn't have to be perfect. However you feel most innately attuned to visualize that in your body, that's the most important thing. And
I'm going to add some other visualization to that. I got a little nice note the other day. Somebody gave me this beautiful red carnelian heart. So as we're doing this meditation, please center yourself in your heart chakra. And I'm holding my heart chakra here in my hand for this as well, to support the energies of universal love as we're getting into this clearing session. So all yours, the mic's yours. Indigo, go ahead.
Okay, awesome. So yes, that's so perfect. And that's so interesting. I just got a carnelian heart as well the other day.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. Well, my daughter told me, my daughter was like, Mom, carnelian is trending on TikTok right now, because I couldn't find any carnelian at the crystal show. I'm like, why is that? And she's like, they're trending on TikTok. And I'm like, how is carnelian? Okay, whatever.
Okay. All right. Okay, so that sidebar aside, pun intended, let's go back to our meditation here. Go ahead.
Okay, so what you want to do is you just simply want to close your eyes, and you want to bring up your pillar of light. So your pillar of light should go all the way into the grand central sun, and you can take that even all the way up into the metagalactic core. You want to bring it down through your chakra system and then all the way down into the core of the earth. Now, right at the center of your chest, you just want to go ahead and visualize that universal tree of life, and then you're going to inhale and exhale, and you're going to expand that universal tree of life out into the totality of your total bioenergetic field. So you want to see that fully expanded out, that universal tree of life With the 12th sphere about 5 inches above your head, you want to visualize the 3 pillars running down your central and right and left columns. And that first sphere about 5 inches below your feet, but you want to see all the remaining spheres inside of the body, however you want to place them, whatever feels natural and whatever feels most intuitive. Okay, and once you have that fully expanded out, now if it's really hard to visualize that structure, you can always just visualize a tree as well. An actual tree that just kind of expands out, and sometimes that's a little bit easier. But what you want to do is from the top is you just want to come down and you want to start scanning your universal tree of life from the top to the bottom. And you want to look and make sure that your universal tree of life is healthy. You want to look and make sure that all of the structures are actually there. If something doesn't look healthy or something looks like it's missing, you want to take time visualizing yourself actually repairing that universal tree of life. And so what you want to do is just keep on scanning. And then you want to come back up and you want to scan again. So this time when you come down and scan, you want to scan for anything that could be negative on your tree of life. So you want to look for any artificial intelligence parasites. You want to look for any of that black goo. You want to look for any type of darkness or shadow or any type of holes, something that could be coming through your universal tree. If you want to look and make sure that you don't have anything like that that's feeding off of your universal tree of life. If you see anything like that, you want to take time removing it. And how you remove it is you just visualize yourself removing it in a quantum state of your consciousness, moving through it, and you are actually cleaning and clearing it yourself. And if you have residue of things as you remove them, you just want to push it down your pillar of light, and you want to release it into the core of the earth and allow the core of the earth to transmute and dematerialize that on your universal tree of life. Then again, you want to come back up to the top again, and you want to scan down it again. This time, you're going to scan for any sort of etheric cords, chains, ropes, bondage, anything that could be tying you or shackling you to anything that could be feeding off of your universal tree of life. So a lot of times this will extend into the Akashic fields. If you see anything like this here, you basically want to cut the cords to these things, and you want to call back your energy into the sovereignty of your universal tree of life. So if you see anything extending off into dogmatic religious soul collectives or soul egregores that would be feeding off of your universal tree of life, you want to cut those cords. If you see chains that are connecting you to slavery contracts or any predispositions or karmatic timelines that are running in your ancestral or generational fields, you want to remove those, take them off, and free your universal tree of life from any of those contracts or any of those energetic extensions that are consuming energy off of your universal tree of life. So you want to scan through that and remove it off your universal tree of life, send it down into the core of the earth for dematerialization. Then what you're going to do after that, once you've completely cleared it and removed everything off your universal tree of life, you're going to go through something called a liquid light cleanse. So you're going to cleanse it, you're going to upgrade it, and you're going to anchor that raw galactic energy into your universal tree of life. And how you do that is you just keep that structure still fully expanded in your pillar of light, but now you're going to reach all the way up to the metagalactic core, and you're going to run 3 lights for 10 seconds, one continuous stream. And you're just going to basically run that as I count down. Okay, so the first light you're going to run from the metagalactic core is going to be cosmic fire. So you're going to bring cosmic fire down for 10 seconds each on an exhale breath. Okay, so ready and go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and they're going to release it. Okay, and then the second light that you want to run through is going to be cosmic water. So it's not really a light, but you're going to just bring cosmic rain or cosmic water down from the metagalactic core, run it through your pillar of light, run it through your universal tree of life, 10 seconds on an exhale breath. Okay, and ready and go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you're going to release it. Okay, and then the second light that you're going to run down is we're going to run the nano diamonds down from the Milky Way. So this is the last part of the liquid light cleanse, but this is going to upgrade your universal tree of life. It's going to purify it, and it's also going to anchor that raw galactic energy in. So 10 seconds of diamond light from the nano diamonds of the Milky Way on one continuous exhale breath for 10 seconds. Ready and go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you want to release it. Okay, and then once you've done that, you can retract back your universal tree of life and back into the center of your chest, and then you can collapse down your pillar of light, and then you can go ahead and clear the visualization. And that's just a quick universal tree of life clearing that you can do.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That was great. We should do more of these during our live shows. I know you and I used to do, when I had a Patreon, when they allowed me to be on Patreon, we used to do these live shows here and then do meditations on Patreon for our insiders. But of course, I don't know. Yeah, I don't need to get into that, but that didn't work out. So now, yeah, I love this. This was amazing. And perhaps you and I should do some uncensored stuff, because there's so many topics you and I can look into and not have to trip all over our words like we did today. We might want to investigate in that realm, maybe starting next year in January. Next couple of weeks here, I'm going to slow down, take some much deserved I guess relaxation time here for myself, my family. I think Indigo is going to be in the same spirit of things here, and then maybe we'll start, I don't know, rejigging our schedule here for January moving forward. There's a lot going on, and of course, we're going to be flexible, guys. If Indigo and I see some things that are absolutely urgent in terms of grid work here, as we hit a lot of these astrological critical dates here in the next couple of days and weeks, we will, of course, find time to perhaps come and do some impromptu live updates for you as well. So, wow. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. You guys are absolutely amazing. And thank you so much, Indigo, for that beautiful visualization with the audience. Now, guys, you know what she's all about. So please do go and check her out here on patreon.com/Indigo Angel. This is just a snippet of the things that she can do there on that platform. And you're going to be absolutely amazed. And of course, better for it. You can find her works and her products also here at IndigoAngels222.com. And finally, all of her free material here on YouTube at Indigo Angel. I'm Jean-Claude at BeyondMystic, and this was another episode of the Galactic Download with my friend Amanda, Indigo Angels. I love you guys. Have a great day. And
bye,
we'll
everyone.
See you soon. Au revoir.